Hello, it's Michelle Fox from Michelle Fox Beauty and Michelle Fox Online. And today we want to talk about the concept of clean beauty. I'm wondering if perhaps you and I have been greenwashed. And if you don't know what that means, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So, like I said, we are going to talk about the whole idea of clean beauty, which is healthy, safe, non toxic. And I know that most of us want to do things that are healthy for us and our family and the world in general. And the degree to which we take that to heart, I think, depends on a few different things our knowledge of how dangerous various things are, perhaps our age. I think as we get older, we get more concerned about these things and our experiences. For example, when my dad was diagnosed with cancer, carcinogens became much more significant to me. I started wondering what was he exposed to? What am I exposed to? What are my kids exposed to? So not everyone is in the same place at the same time. And just like the gray hair debate that we had not long ago, when it comes to toxic ingredients or how people perceive them or what they use, what chemicals are in their home, we really have to give each other some grace because, like I said, not everyone has the same level of awareness and not everyone has the same priorities. And it really isn't a right or wrong thing. It really isn't a morality issue to me. I think that we have to, if we find someone that we feel is unaware and that we can enlighten them, I think that that's a good thing. But I also think that there's that fine line where when we just judge and judge and judge, that we're really not helping anyone. So today I want to discuss what I know about it, which is pretty limited. And that is why we're having an expert come online with me tomorrow on my Facebook page, which is Michelle Fox Beauty. We're going to have a live interview with someone who really and truly is an expert in this field. Her name is Katie Giroudi, and that will be phenomenal. You really want to get there. And if you could be there live and in person so you can ask her questions, that would be amazing for you. So let's see. So it is tomorrow, which is Tuesday. I have no idea what day of the month. Hold on. Tomorrow is Tuesday, the 23rd, and she's coming on at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time with me on my Facebook business page, Michelle Fox Beauty. Okay. But today we're going to talk about my limited knowledge of this topic. And here's the thing. So I was growing up in the 70s where, frankly, if something smelled pretty and lasted longer, it was a good thing. And that was when preservatives and artificial fragrances and coloring and all of these things that made our lives easier was really coming on fast and furious. So I've run the gamut. I've seen when these things made my mom's and my grandma's lives more simple and easier and made shopping easier and more affordable. And I remember the hearing the conversations, and I was there to see how having a microwave just made dinner time so much simpler and quicker. And still, obviously I use a microwave, but the idea of, well, are these things dangerous? Are these things going to cause issues down the line? What should we be concerned? It wasn't really there back then because I think that many people just assumed that if it was available in the store, that it was safe. Just like we assume, if the doctor says so, it's always right. If it's on the news, then that's, exactly what's happening. And it wasn't so much that we were naive. It was that we were trusting because we hadn't been given a reason not to. And over time, we've discovered that as businesses, agencies, governments discover things, they do not always let the general public in on the information. So we have to be our own advocate. And what has happened recently in the beauty industry is that companies realize that we consumers want to be healthy. And so there are certain buzzwords that imply that products are healthy. These words and terms are not regulated. There's no one policing this. So companies can slap those words all over their products, and we see them on the shelves and think that this is a good choice. This is a healthy choice for me and my family. And we put it in our cart, not realizing that that term means nothing. It is just a label. It could be any word, and it means nothing. And that is frightening. That is upsetting. It really, really is. And that's called greenwashing. And that's part of what we're going to get to today as well. So we're learning together. Honestly, this is not my forte in the sense that something that I've studied, ad infinitum. I am concerned, and I have friends that do study this, and I hear them and I learn, and I find it very interesting. I will have some thoughts at the end though, too, because I think balance is always important, but let's start here. So the expression or the term all natural. Now that seems like something you should trust, right? All natural. What could possibly be wrong with all natural? But believe it or not, something can be all natural and still be toxic. All right. Arsenic is all natural. Crude oil is all natural. Petroleum is all natural. There are things derived from things that we get from the earth that are very much bad for us. So the fact that it's from nature does not equate healthy or safe. And that is definitely a greenwash thing in our head. And, other examples would be beeswax and nuts and such. There are people that are deathly allergic to such things. So all natural is not the end all be all. So what about this one? Organic. Organic sounds perfect. I mean, we know that means not only is it natural, but it hasn't been exposed to any kind of chemicals. So it's like the best of both worlds. Again, not necessarily the same as non-toxic. We will get to what is the difference between the two in just a sec, but I want to go through a couple more. Green. Okay, green is the best example, in my opinion, of greenwashing. Like, what is green really? Okay, we are a green company. We are making a green effort. This is a green product. If nobody is saying what that needs to mean, it can mean anything. It can mean that it is literally green. You know what I'm saying? And so oftentimes we assume that there is some governing agency making sure that the claims that are made are proven, and they're not. So green, I mean, we know that it implies that it's healthy for the environment, that it's safe for our bodies, that it's good for our future, but there's no proof of that. There's no one regulating that. So that is a very vague term. And here's one that I've been seeing a lot lately. Vegan. We might think that if we are a vegan, I'm not, but I know a lot of people who are, and something is labeled as vegan, then okay, perfect. Throw that in my cart. But even then, unfortunately, you have to look at the ingredients. And I'll give you an example. Carmine is a red dye that is used in makeup, and it is a high-end red dye. So it is in the better brands, but it's made from beetles, crushed up beetles, dead bugs. And I have seen brands that claim to be vegan that have carmine in their products. That is not okay. That is not vegan. And you might think, oh my gosh, that's so minor. But listen, Either you are or you ain't. So who's in charge of that? If you have beeswax in your products, that is not vegan. So somebody has to be making sure that when they make that claim that it is correct, and they're not. Nobody is in charge of that. And that is upsetting. That is upsetting because that matters to people. Botanical, same thing. You picture someone, underneath a sprinkling waterfall with all natural, wonderful things, but it doesn't mean anything. Weird, right? It's a beautiful word. I love that word. I am familiar with a line called that, but it really doesn't have any clout. Okay. Now, this is what we're going for. Like, we want something that is really and truly non-toxic, but even that can be on a label. But if no one is making them prove it, we don't know if that is actually true. Mind blown. Okay. Like, I hate liars. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Like, this disturbs me to the nth degree. But we have to be our own advocate. We have to understand what ingredients should we be watching out for, and what companies can we therefore trust. Where can we go to find out what companies we can trust? Where should we go to find out what ingredients we should be wary of? Fortunately, we have the resources to get that kind of information. I regret that it is our responsibility. Frankly, I got a lot going on right now. I got a lot on my plate. I don't really want to have to do that, but I'm happy that I know how to get that information. So, whatever. Now we know, right? So, I just think that it is very sad. And I'm sure that if you look in your medicine cabinet and your closets and look at the labels, that you will see things that claim to be all natural, organic, botanical, et cetera, et cetera. And you'll stop and think, well, I think I did buy that because it said that. Is it? Probably not. It's a rare product. It's a rare company that can really and truly claim that all of their ingredients can be proven to be non-toxic. It's really and truly rare. So on that side of the issue, I want to say that of course we want to be healthy. We want to make wise choices. I think we all do, bottom line. But I think that we don't want to live in a state of paranoia or fear, or just constantly thinking about it, constantly worrying about it. So there's a balance. Like, I think that as responsible individuals, we need to stay aware, and we need to stay involved and informed and make the best choices we can given the information we have, and to just trust and to move forward. And then when we discover that we have made a poor choice, that we change our choice and not freak out over it. Because I do believe that our government does a pretty darn good job overall of what we are exposed to, what's on our shelf. I think that the European government does a better job. I'll give you an example why. In Europe, there are so many more things banned. So I'll give you an example. So the European Union bans more than 1,300 ingredients from cosmetics. However, in the United States, beauty is one of the least regulated industries, and only 30 ingredients are banned. This is from an article written in 2019. It's from French Vogue. mind, again, mind blown. So let me repeat that. So this might be different. I just snagged this today because everything else in the article was so good. But it is a couple years old. Ingredients banned by the European Union, 1,300. Ingredients banned in the United States as of 2019, around 30. Wow, huge difference. But I do know that there are certain brands that take it upon themselves to keep an eye on what the European nations are banning, and that they're ahead of the game, that they choose of their own volition to make sure that their products are safe and that they do not use those ingredients, or they know that the FDA is in the process of testing, or they're going to regulate that, and those companies, before they're even required, that they get on the bandwagon and take care of business, right away. When you find companies that are doing things like that, and you trust their let's see, when you find a company that you really feel good about and that you trust their goals, their intentions, and you see that they're making choices that benefit you, that have your best interest at heart and not just their bottom dollar, I think that it is really important to get a list, of one or two or three companies like that, and to just stick with those brands. It's just one more reason. I'm very much a brand loyal person. I love to try different things, but more and more I'm seeing the benefit of staying with a particular brand, because you will learn not only their culture and their history, but once you feel that you can trust the leadership and the direction that the company is going, it just makes life simpler. Yes, you still need to make sure, check the ingredients, check what's going on. You don't ever want to blindly lead something or someone, but I feel much better with the brands that I am loyal to, as opposed to just trying something randomly off the shelf. And I'm going to add, when something is imported from China, or it's a brand you've never ever heard of because it's something you're getting at a dollar store or something of that nature, you've got to be careful, okay? Because the cheaper it is, or if it's from a nation that doesn't regulate these things, you are getting some toxic ingredients. I can pretty much guarantee it. So you need to be very, very careful about that. So I did want to explain, I think I already said that I would, so I'm coming back to it, the difference between natural and organic, because I think I've gotten confused about that too. So natural is just that it is from nature, like I said, and not necessarily everything from nature is good and healthy. But organic, it means specifically, I think, do I have it already on here we go. Organic products are made with non-GMO ingredients that have been grown, raised, harvested, manufactured, and preserved without chemical herbicides, pesticides, fungicides, or antibiotics. So that takes it to a whole other level. And that makes me think of this too. We can do all kinds of things about what we put on our body and what we ingest by, what we eat and such. But then we think about what are we doing on our lawn? Are we putting all kinds of chemicals on our lawn, and then we're out there, playing with our kids and the dogs rolling around in the grass? And there are so many things to consider. And if you're anything like me, it can be overwhelming. It really can, because once I know something needs to change, I want to make it right, and I want to make it right now. So I do have a few thoughts on that. One is that the best place to start, like if you feel like I'm feeling some trepidation, I want to make some changes, is to start with the products that you use on your face and your head. So your skincare, your makeup, your shampoo, because anything you put on your skin, my friends, is soaking into your body. And so that is a great place to start. You're not going to be able to change everything immediately. One, take too much time. Two, it would cost too much. So just know that you're doing what you can do and start here. Okay. Another one is to find one or two brands that you trust. And that's going to be different when it comes to cleaning products versus personal products, et cetera, et cetera. But ask your friends, do some research, look at magazines that you trust. You will find a couple, and it might take some time and it might take some trial and error, because when I try things that are non-toxic slash all natural slash, whatever, you know, sometimes I'm a little disappointed in them because they aren't as powerful as what I'm used to. So, for example, cleaning products. When I switched to natural cleaning products, I was like, well, shoot, I have to scrub a lot harder. But it's because I've been spoiled by things that are doing the job for me, but it's also given me God knows what as I'm exposed to those fumes. So it might take a minute to find the brands that you really love and trust and want to add to your shelf on the regular, but that's okay. All right. We've got time to figure this out. All right. And then another one is know where to go to find information. And that's why I want you to be here tomorrow to listen to Katie Giroudi, because she has so much information. And then she will also give us some ideas of where to go to really maintain that feeling of being in the know. I have a couple places in the back of my mind, but I'm just going to wait and let her be the one to give us these suggestions. So some parting thoughts here. I keep looking off to the side because I've got all these really nice banners and I don't want to forget them. I do that all the time. So here's something. Remember, the FDA does not regulate or define claims that are often used in greenwashed products. I do have to remind myself of that because I frequently see myself reaching for all natural, organic, botanically or naturally derived. These things really don't mean a darn thing. And so if that's the reason why we're reaching for it, stop. Okay. If you're reaching for it because someone recommended it to you, or there's some other reason, then that's fine. But that label, don't be tricked by a label, by a phrase that really doesn't really and truly mean anything. Okay. I hope that makes sense. Fragrance in cosmetics can be used as a loophole to hide toxic ingredients. This, we didn't hit this yet, but I'm glad that I have a banner for it. Fragrance, when it's good to find a brand that will list all of the ingredients in a product. However, fragrance does not mean anything. Okay. When you say that something has fragrance, you could have like a formula, let's say, that your company uses to create that fragrance, and you don't have to break down what that formula is. So people can say, well, that's part of our secret fragrance formula. You get me? So they can actually hide toxic ingredients that they don't want on that label under the guise of, well, that's part of our fragrance. Wink, wink. Is actually not funny. But so when you see fragrance on there, that's part of the reason why there's a big push for fragrance free. That's one indicator that things have less toxic potential. I love things that smell good. So that's a hard one for me. And I frankly have not eliminated all good smelling things from my life. But I am aware of the fact that there are some companies, some brands that will take that term and use it to their advantage to hide toxic ingredients. Not everybody does, okay? The term fragrance on an ingredient list does not indicate that it definitely has toxins in it, okay? So there's two sides to that. So remember, just because something says that it's natural or green or botanical does not equate non-toxic. And to really be in the know, I want you to listen to our special guest, Katie Giroudi, Tuesday at 1:00 Eastern Daylight Time on my Facebook business page, Michelle Fox Beauty. Thank you so much for your time. I know that you learned a little something. I'd love to hear in the comments what your thoughts are. And like I said, Let's not be harsh and judging. Let's just learn together. If you know more than me, or if you know something different than what I said, you feel free to correct me, but do so in love and grace. Okay. That is the only way that we're all going to become better together, not with head bashing or criticizing or one feeling like they're superior to the other, but we need to come together to hold each other up, to teach each other in love. That is how it's going to happen. Okay, friends. So thanks. I can't wait for my interview with her tomorrow, and I hope that I'll see you then. Thanks so much.